You fought well yesterday. Your style is unorthodox. It is not the art, but the combat that you enjoy.
The sun rises. Assalamu alaikum. Good morning. Amun. Peace, 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 peace. This is a special. I'm Chocolate Amun Ra. And this special is very important. Simple fact. That I've been going over a few things, and the ancestor says, listen, there's certain things we seem to not to talk about. Went over my head, swimmed in it a little bit,
It is not the art, but the combat that you enjoy.
and then I realized this. We are hurting our own children. Pay attention. We are hurting our own children. Now, some of you, you'll let your pride and your ego get into your head and mess you up. But in fact, we are. We let the system of things, and people on TV, people on social media, people on regular TV programs, as well as cable, tell our children, also, Hollywood in the movies, newspapers, magazines, so on and so forth, tell us how to raise our children. Think about it for a minute. Think about it. Let's step back for a minute. Let's step back and look 40 years ago. I'm 50. My birthday's about to come up. I'm 50 years old. And when I look back in my time frame, my eyesight, my ears for what I heard. And me as a person, when I was a child, I knew a lot of things we couldn't get away with. Now, one of the biggest topics that I want is who stated and who came up with the rule that your 12-year-old, 13, 14, 15, 16-year-old is mature enough to have a baby.
You fought well yesterday. Your style is unorthodox.
Now, who told you 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 years old can get into a relationship? How you can get into a relationship at this young age and you don't even know how to wash your behind, don't know how to wash your ears, don't want to brush your teeth?
It is not the art.
Let's think about this for a minute.
You enjoy.
Who gave their children permission to have a relationship at this young age? Why are the parents so reluctant to allow their children to get into these issues and problems and then have a psychological warfare before they're 18 years old? Now, it's understandable that you will have feelings because when you're around people, you like them. You will grow a bond. But who gave the children permission to have a relationship? 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 years old. A lot of them don't even know how to read yet. Don't know how to do mathematics. Don't want to do no studying. But why is it important for we to put our children out there in the street so they can have relationships? Then the relationships develop into sexual behavior. Who gave them permission to do this? Why are you allowing your children to go out there and get involved with an emotion that they won't be able to handle? Then they look at the adults and see reflection of if that's what they do, then that's what I should do. Are you taking responsibility? Are you taking full responsibility? Let your children stay a child. Gods and goddesses, kings and queens, brothers and sisters, however you want to be called, 2018 is here upon us.
You enjoy.
Either you're going to change your lifestyle, move forward in the right direction. Society wants you to be passive to your children. Just because you get a handful of people, and I mean a handful of people who'll abuse their children, we know this. So then they want to put the whole entire society on watch, especially black people. Listen here now, I know some of you are going to get your little attitudes and you're going to get all upset because you don't want to recognize it. Black people are always put on the pedestal of ideas, of punishment, of reconstruction things, and if we can pass it through them and they accept it. It's been like that since when they use different materials, they use pharmaceuticals, they did it with diseases. They give black people and give them diseases to see how they will last. Some of them died. They give you new medication, or they gonna give it to you first. Now I'm just pinpointing. Some of you don't seem to want to understand that. But why you think it's necessary for your child to go on a date at 14, 15, 16 years old, sometime 12? Why? And don't give me that chaperone crap. I want to know why you think it's necessary to do so. I'm shocked. I'm really shocked. I'm gonna be honest with you. Now, let me make it clear before I move on. I'm not your messenger of a pastor, of a minister, of a preacher. I am not no archaeologist. I'm not an astronomer. I'm not a mathematician. I'm not a scientist. I am just your messenger. My opinions, my thoughts, my research. But I learn from everyone. I learn from all things considered. That you must understand. There's not a book, no Bible, no Quran, the book of Enoch, the book of Jubilee, the Tahara. All these books have an answer to a question. And you could choose to read them or understand it. But the reason why I do that is because it's called cross-reference. Now, back to my point. I want to know, why do we allow our children, well, not me per se. So I put myself into the conversation because a while back, I was blinded for a short period of time. And then I snapped out of the illusion. And I told my daughters, no can do. Now, let's stop putting this thing of the children made a mistake. Listen to how we even talk. The children made a mistake. The children made a mistake. Well, how they got there? Why they wanted to make the mistake? Why they were so damn curious? And then when they make a mistake, if you will, all of a sudden now, we gotta ignore it because they made a mistake. But when you ignore the circumstances that what happened, you give them a pass to believe that it is okay to go out and make a baby at an early age between 12, 13, 14, 15, and 16. Oh, I believe 17, 18, 19, even 20 is still too early. Yes. Now, some of you probably know that my second oldest child, she has a baby, my granddaughter. So I'm speaking on experience, brothers and sisters. I speak from experience, brothers and sisters. There's no faking it here. You see my page, look through it all up and down. Ain't nothing to hide up in here. See, when you hide yourself from situations and issues, then it come back to bite you. No. Some people go, why you put this information, Chocolate Amun Ra? Why you put this information out there like that? Why you make a lot of videos and stuff? I do those videos and I make pictures and post them up because you can't speak to the people naturally, freely, and not exposing yourself. You got to expose yourself from the dark side to the light side. You got to. We all make mistakes. We're going to continue making mistakes. But the key point is, are we going to learn from those mistakes? That's the key point. Are you going to learn from those mistakes? Now, gods and goddesses out there, I'll say it and say it again. Who told you to allow your children to be in a relationship at an early age? This is one of the greatest mistakes that melanated people of the darker race had consumed and adopted this idea. Because I know when I was a child, that wasn't happening. I mean, I liked the girls, sure, but you couldn't bring that home in our house. Oh, my mother and father had something for that. Because if you think you're going to be in a relationship 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 years old, then you can get a job and go out on your own. You ain't living here for free. And then create another life form and thinking somebody's supposed to take care of the baby. This is why how society today in modern times, they flip the script. If your child at an early age has a baby, they put the responsibility on the parent or the parents. They got to pay. Think about it. Some of you already know this. They did this so you could be more responsible. And now this is a damn shame. This is a damn shame. Society of the whitewash system of things going to tell you how to raise your children by making you pay. Think about it. How in the world they going to force you to pay for their mistakes? Because what they saying is this here: you're not being a good parent. You allowing them to go out there and do whatever they want. I'm telling you. And then when you have a child that's having a child, what you think you're gonna get out of that? Some of you might throw your child out there in the street so they can really suffer. Because that's all they're gonna do is suffer. When my daughter had a baby early, she was in between her stages between 18 and 19, second oldest child. Now, we didn't throw her out in the street. Don't get it twisted. I wanted to do it. But I knew the baby was innocent. Also, the baby's the grandbaby. The first grandbaby. Now, understand this concept I'm about to drop on you. Quick, fast. Maybe you might get a better understanding. I was constantly, my wife and I, the family and I, was constantly dropping some serious jewels on my second oldest child. But I want y'all to understand something. Sometimes people are so locked on to what they want to do, they believe so heartedly this is their mission. No, that is what they want to tell you psychologically. But in fact, it's always a deeper, agenda. This deep agenda is a psychological warfare. Sometimes a child wants attention, and you give the child attention the best you can give them because there's other children that's in the household. But the child possibility needs extra attention, meaning you might have to sit down and hold an extra half an hour conversation. You might have to, you and that child, man or woman, boy or girl, have a one-on-one conversation, an extra half an hour to an hour. Because I've realized some children need an extra attention because they're sensitive. Now remind you that they're all growing up. We're all growing up. Looking around, for fathers your eyes can see their schools, their friends, the institutions that they go to. It's also peer pressure and influence, like I told you earlier. Movies, social media, their phones, their cell phones, where they can call their friends anytime they want. They can get on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, all these things. This computer stage of life, it's a blessing, but it's also damaging because they are more open and exposed to all these different type of ideas and socializing, penetrating their minds with the media and these reality shows, and these kids watch these things. Let's stop playing games. So it's a battle inside your home to keep your children, their minds educated. Now let's see for what it is. Now my child, the second oldest, she had the baby. We was there. We went to the hospital. We seen the baby in the hospital. This is over 2 years ago. We told her, now we got your back. We're gonna help you. What we done, but learn from your mistakes. Because what's in your mind, you ain't telling it. What's in your mind, you think that is correct. But when they get past a certain age, you really don't have too much of a threshold on them. When they get out there and expose themselves and they realize they can survive and live in the environment. But I'm telling you to say this. If any one of you are going through this and your child, son or daughter, there ain't no excuses, son or daughter, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, up to I don't really only say 21. It should even be higher than that. But, I had my children at a late age. None of my children's in their 30s. I'm 50. Figure that out. Okay? 30 years of my life, I was enjoying my life. 30 years. Okay? So, none of my children in their 30s. None of them. Okay? Even my boys that you see me in the wedding, I helped raise those children. They're not in their 30s yet. Look how they had children at a late stage, close to 30 years old. Because spewing this information in their heads since they was a baby. I want you to hear me now. I've been spewing this information in those boys' heads. And my oldest child, she'll be 23. My blood ties, my blood. See, you all understand it. The reason why I got a lot of kids, but I have one blood by blood, is because I'm raising these children and they're my children. Understand what I'm about to drop on you. You see, you can't step in a father's world and talk like you're a father. You have to become that. You have to become a father. You see, my wife, she already had 3 daughters, and I got my own daughter. Then, when I was with my daughter's mother for a couple of years, she already had 4 sons, which I raised her 4 sons. They are my boys as well. Understand when I just dropped on you. So, I really officially have one blood child, just one. But I raised 7 children. But, I've been with a woman who had 4 children before that, and been around that other woman and her children. Understand this, I raised a lot of children, but I have one child. And if you look into my background, you will see the success that these children are. Success! Because you have the opportunity to keep them there. Don't let you being a little bit constructive discipline. Don't allow that to stop you. Don't allow society to tell you don't discipline the kids. First of all, you ain't gotta abuse nobody in the first place. You gotta get in their minds to save their life. You might have to take away their video games, take away their phone, and from time to time, you have to spank them. Now, if you got to do that, that means the child is hard-headed. So you got to bring the child back into his frame of mind and to calm down. Because if you choose not to, your children will rule you. Spare the rod, spoil the child. This is why so many of you kids is out there having babies. Who are you fooling? Who are you fooling? You're not their friends. You their parent. I got a special track record. My mother and father raised beautiful children. There's 7 of us in our household from my mother and father. My father's passed away. He moved on. And my father was no joke. He worked his butt off. I'm not gonna even lie to you now. He worked his butt off. And my father, he had time to play children's little games. Don't bring no kids up in his house. If you can't take care of them, what you think we supposed to do? I'm the grandparent. I'm not supposed to be raising your children. Who are you fooling? Grandparents now 30 years old. Early 30s. Early. Talking about, oh, let me take care of the baby while you go out there and go party. Then you want to know why children's having children. They grown. Reflection of a reflection of what you put out. Oh, I knew 2018 I was coming in there and I'm gonna put in this work. Either we're gonna be real or continue playing the same circus round and round the merry-go-round. See you in part 2. Who told you it was okay to allow your children to be dating and having a relationship at an early age?